Everybody wants to be a leader today. Social media tells us to build a platform, become an influencer, be the boss, never let anyone tell you what to do. But here's the irony. Every great leader is also a great follower. The people who make the biggest impact aren't the ones who know everything. They are the ones humble enough to keep learning, growing, and serving. Today, we want to expose 3 lies our culture tells us about leadership and following and see what God's word actually says about them. All right, y'all. Today, we are going to discuss 3 lies that they tell you about leadership and following. We're getting right into it today. Here's lie number 1. If you're a leader, you have to have all the answers.
That I'm in trouble.
You heard that one before?
Yes.
No, I think this is important to start out with because 100% I feel like across the board that most people, especially once they get into a leadership role, they feel like, oh man, now I got this pressure on me and now I have to come up with all the answers all the time. Someone asks me a question, I have to know exactly what I'm supposed to tell them. Mm-hmm. Someone needs to know how am I supposed to do something, I need to know the process to everything there is.
I'm aware. But, or do you have to know the answer, or do you just have to know the person that knows the answer?
That's good right there. I learned a long time ago that a great leader is not going to have all the answers. And actually what makes a great leader is me being able to say, you know what, I'm not 100% sure about that. Let me do some more research. Let me talk to some people, or maybe me and you sit down and we'll try to figure it out together.
Yes.
But I definitely do not say I know something if I don't know how to do it. That is leadership error.
Yeah.
Massive.
And it's
number
not
one.
a bad thing. I think,
No.
you know, when I learned at an early age that I was a good leader. You know, I always thought that me saying that was like kind of, you know, boastful. But I am a good leader in certain things. And I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to it's okay to say I don't know, but I can find out. Or I know the person that knows and I'll get right back to you. I mean, it's actually kind of like a superpower to not know things sometimes. You know, I mean, I have a good memory just for today, but it is. It's kind of powerful not having to know everything.
Well, great leaders know when to say, I don't know, let's figure it out together. Mm-hmm. And Proverbs 11:14 says, where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. And I love Proverbs. I've been in it consistently quite a bit here, especially lately. Man, you know, how true is that? It's actually talking about even referring to nations in the original translation. But if there's no counsel, if there's no, it's just one person thinks they know everything when they actually don't, man, the people fall, a nation falls, whoever is under our leadership falls. Like, it is not going to be the best looking out for them. But when the multitude of counselors, there is safety. I'll go so far as to say, if you're a leader that you're, following or a part of or look up to, if they don't have people in their life that they're getting counsel from, I would be weary of that.
I'd have to agree. I mean, it'd be more of like a dictatorship at that point, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Pride says I have to know everything, and wisdom says I need wise people around me.
Yes.
Because leadership isn't knowing everything, it's knowing where to find wisdom, and the strongest leaders are always teachable, always remain teachable. It's very, very important.
I think leadership, too, can go back to relationships. I think ultimately everything goes back to relationships. You know, those, if I want to learn how to be a good wife, I'm going to go to people that are good wives. If I want to know leadership, I'm going to go to great leaders who are leaders in those certain roles. They may be a great leader at leading people, but they may suck at finances. You know, I always go to, that's one of the things you taught me early on is find mentors in the areas that you're seeking mentorship in and that are successful in.
Yeah. So next, if you're a follower, you're weak. I really think that is a stigma out there. People think if you ain't the top dog, you're not nothing. And the whole point of life is to climb the ladder so you can be the CEO or whatever it is, and all the other roles are insignificant. Thoughts on that?
I mean, when I was kind of coming up with this topic, it made me think of something, my mom used to say when I was, I want to say Mean Girls stage. So 6th, 7th grade, Mean Girls, middle school. And she's like, don't be a follower. And I used to think of it as like a really bad thing, but it was because I was following popularity. I wanted to be like them, but not in the right elements of what I should have been focused on, but if you're following those that are following Jesus or following the right people, I don't see anything wrong with being a follower in that, because I'm a follower in some ways, but I can also be, a leader in others.
Right. Yeah, I think the first to break that lie, I have learned as a great leader that a great leader will value the people that are in all the other roles, because you wouldn't be the leader. You wouldn't be able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish without all the other people in your organization or under your leadership being able to help you. And for most people, like as we work together and you're basically my assistant, like it's, the equivalent, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm able to do without you helping me along. So, it takes a team, it takes a group of people to get things done. And following the right person, it does takes humility, wisdom, and strength, and being humble enough to know, like, well, first, we should all be followers. So if you're a follower, you're weak. It goes directly against everything Jesus taught us, because we're supposed to be a follower of Christ.
Yes.
So, first of all, you want your leader to be a follower of someone, definitely Jesus, in their life. That's someone to, that we can all look up to. And 1 Corinthians 11:1, this was Paul speaking. He said, basically, follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. So not only are we following Jesus, but we also want to follow others that are on that same spiritual path. They're following Christ, and he's saying, hey, follow me as I follow Christ.
Right.
So there's, every single one of us should have mentors, and obviously Jesus that we're following and learning what we can from and striving to be like them.
It made me. Hey, y'all, you've heard us talk about our nonprofit, Hand Up to Victory. I am here to tell you that it changed my life. I don't know where I would be without it. So below is a link to handuptovictory.org. Please click on that link and go to the donations tab. You may save a life, change a life. And I am living proof. So handuptovictory.org. Please donate if you can. I think, too, just because, yes, I do follow your leadership, we don't have to agree on everything. I mean, we do agree on a lot, but we're able to have those conversations. And when I think about having too many leaders, you're competing for that finish line and not falling in line for the better of the organization, as an example.
Yep, that's good. Anybody can rebel. It takes maturity to submit to godly leadership. Every great leader first learned how to follow. Know that for a fact. Anyone I've ever studied, I've ever read books on, John Maxwell, T.D. all these big guys, like they followed other people first, and that's what allowed them to become the great leaders that they are today.
Nice.
Before God gives you influence, he often teaches you obedience. And one of the strongest things anyone can ever say, no matter what the situation is, our recovery, our business, our marriage, whatever it is, I don't know, show me.
Yep. Yeah. Walk me through it. A lot of times I just need to be shown one time, and then I can take over, do my routine or whatever. But the minute that I think and I assume that I know how to do something, it usually blows up in my face every single time.
So lie number 3, a real leader is above everybody else.
A real one.
No, I think that's 100% what people think. If you're not the leader of the group, then, you
don't count.
Yeah.
Like if you're not first, you're last. Like
yeah,
Bobby,
or
like
I guess take it the other way, like
Bobby.
the leader is the best person. So like, a bunch of people, when they say, hey, who wants to lead the group? Sometimes you'll get groups where everyone's like, me. And then sometimes you'll get like the other day when we were together. Now, if you notice to this point, because I learned all these lessons, I stood back. Do I think that I could have been one of the best people of our group to be the leader? Absolutely.
I was like, Justin, do you want to lead? And he ignored me.
Did I think that I had, the wisdom and some answers to lead that group? Absolutely. But I stood back and I heard you. And then I heard the other people say, you want to lead? No.
They're like, Austin. I was like, nah, I wanted to be quiet and listen.
And then finally someone else is like, Justin, why don't you do it? You're like, yeah, Justin, why don't you be the leader? I was like, all right, no problem. I'll do it. I got this. But let me tell you the one thing that this was the most important leadership principle that I ever learned. A real leader never has to act or tell you that they're the leader. I do not come into our team meetings and be like, all right, listen here, y'all, you're going to do this, this, and this because I'm the leader and I say so. Like,
They'd be like, okay, buddy.
people think they have to assert their dominance in order to get people to follow them. And I'm going to tell you the complete opposite. I go into the High in Jesus meeting. I go into certain situations with the halfway houses, whatever it is. I don't act like I'm the leader of it. But people just naturally are gravitate to me and they naturally follow me because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I walk with integrity. You know, people can tell I'm pursuing Christ. I, to think through my decisions. I don't just act out of impulse, like all that stuff. And people want to be a part of that. So that's how you gain a following. It's not trying to assert your dominance over other people. And then another good principle is a real leader serves. So there's a great example of this in the Bible from Mark 10, verses 43 through 44. Jesus speaking, "Yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever of you desires to be the first shall be slave of all." Constant principle by Jesus, time and time again. He was always saying, no, like I've come to serve, not to be served. And I'm going to wash your feet and I'm going to take care of your needs. And over again, it was like, hey, Jesus, like, who's going to be the greatest among us? Like, tell you who's going to be the greatest, the least among you. That's who's going to be the greatest later. And so basically saying that, if you always go around, and I've seen this in plenty of leaders, they take that mentality of everybody serves me, and another fatal error is they bring that back home with them. And they think that their family is there to serve them just like everybody else is. And man, I'm telling you, if you want to be a great leader in your house, you want to be a great leader of an organization, of community, whatever it is, you're there to serve. Like, I'm there to help others be the best that they can. I'm there to share lessons that took me years to learn so they can learn them quicker. Like, I'm there to do whatever I can for others. And that's what defines a great leader.
I could tell early on, before I came on the team, when I could say simply just the house manager, at Journey to Greatness. That was when I was still working in the restaurant. And you help out with some of the halfway houses. And if something was going down in the house, and you've taught me to do this today, but you always made me feel so important because you cared about my opinion. You would call me, you wouldn't assume all these other things, or you wouldn't call the director. You got on my level. And even today, you get on everyone else's level, and you want to make anyone feel heard, appreciated. And I feel like that is such a good quality for a leader, that you come down to whatever level, or you don't even have to come down to that level, because you meet us where we're at and you speak to us so easily. And through the last 2 years of being on the in Hand Up to Victory's organization, you always make sure we're taken care of first. And that's another good quality of a good leader. Like, it's not self-serving, because by you making sure we're taking care of it, you in turn are served.
Yep.
And now I can hopefully pass it on to the next. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Leadership is responsibility, not status, to that point.
Yeah.
If you just want to be the leader so you can have the, best of the toys and act like you're, the king of everything, it's not. That is not going to be enough reason to keep you in that seat. I can promise you that. If nobody is better because you're leading, you're just holding a title.
Yeah, you're just taking up space till the actual leader comes along.
Exactly. That's good right there. I like that. Because Jesus washed feet before he wore a crown. Leadership isn't asking who's going to help me. Leadership asks, who can I help today? So many things that, a leader it's not just about that title. And not only are you called to serve, but you're also held to a higher standard, as many people find out. Mm-hmm. Bonnie would even be like, oh, well, I'm going to say this, that, and the other on social media. I'm like, well, you could say it, but I'm not saying it.
And I'm not commenting either.
Right? Like, oh, well, we're going to go tell them what's up. I mean, you could do that, but I'm not doing that because I'm held to a higher standard. As our leadership in politics, you see people that come for their throats on social media. When you put yourself in that spotlight, it's not just, oh, look at me, I'm in charge of passing bills. It's you're going to be held to a very high standard and people are going to come for your throat.
Well, and when you join whatever platform and you're trying to stand with other agencies, with other organizations. When you stand on that same platform, that means you're connected, and how the public is going to view you, you're automatically connected just by that photo, that post, that whatever. So.
Yes, for sure. I want to put this out there also. Some people could think, well, not everybody is meant to be a leader. It's definitely true in a certain form, meaning that, not is everyone meant to be the CEO? No. Is everyone meant to be the owner and director of the organization? No. But we all are leaders in some capacity because someone's looking up to us. There's someone that we have influence over. There's someone that's, maybe even watching you from afar that's like, oh man, like, they have their act together, or they, seem to be doing well. Like, I'm going to just maybe from afar watch what they do, act like they do, whatever it is. And we have influence over people, whether we think it or not. So I truly believe that everyone is a leader in some form. But whether God has called you to the top of leadership, or maybe just leadership over a few, your calling is the same. It's to stay humble, stay teachable, and keep serving. And the greatest leaders never stop following Christ. The strongest followers are preparing to lead someday.
That's good. Now, I mean, some days when I don't know what's going to happen, or I've got something big, I always remember to call a leader in some way, shape, or form, whether it could be you. It could be a woman in recovery. It could be, just just ask that day.
Yep. Follow Christ, follow your mentors, and that is going to make you a better leader for people to be able to follow your example as you follow Christ. It's Just in Time with Justin Hallis.
And Austin with a Y. And that's
If you love our High on Jesus merch you see us wear every episode, check out the link in the description below, highonjesus.org. It's a statement, a testimony, a reminder of who and what kept you free. It's not a trend, not a phrase. It's a lifestyle. Every shirt supports the mission. Every hoodie tells a story. Every purchase helps someone else find freedom. Wear the message, rep the movement, buy the merch.